Welcome back to your math class. 6.4, Factoring Trinomials by Grouping. It's important that you understand about greatest common factor. That's what we are going to use to do the factoring trinomials by grouping. This is a 4-step process. So as I do the first problem, I will write down in words also the process. So we will be able to understand what's going on. The first thing we need to do, multiply the first and third terms. For our example here, it would be 20 times 3. Equals 60. Second step, find two numbers whose product, misspelled that, there we go, product equals the number 1 number. That's a little confusing, but we're talking about this number 1 number. And whose sum equals our middle term. So I need a number that will multiply to equal 60, but that will combine to equal 17. Everything's positive here, so that makes it a little bit easier because we will be adding. So we've got 1 times 60, 2 times 30, 3 times 20, 4 times 15, 5 times 12, 6 times 10, and then we want to combine them. 61, 32, 23, 19, 17, 16, and looky there. We have a winner. So that is step 2. Step 3. Rewrite the trinomial and split middle term. And we're going to use our winner here. So we will have 20x squared plus 5x plus 12x plus 3. This middle adds up to this. Now for step 4, we will factor by grouping. Remember, you want to group the first two, the last two, circle what's in the middle. Looking for a GCF, 5x And then what's left is 4x plus 1. Bring down your plus. Look for a GCF. 3, 4x plus 1. Remember that these must match for this process to work. Then write your answer. 5x plus 3 times 4x plus 1. And this is our answer. After you do it a few times, it should become easier each time. I would keep these 4 steps handy while you're working on the problems. Let's look at another one. Oh, wrong. Need to back that up. Got ahead of myself a little bit there. All right, I need some space. So let me move this down some more. Step 1. 16 times negative 9 will equal negative 144. Step 2. We need all the factors of negative 144 that will combine, which means we're going to add or subtract to get that negative 10. So it's a negative 10, which means my large number will need to be the negative. 1 times 144, 2 times 72, 3 times 48, 4 times 36, 5 won't go, 6 times 24, 7 won't go, 8 times 18, and we already know that 9 times 16, that's where we had our there, and then we've always got the 12 times 12. Alrighty, now remember, it's a negative 144. So one of these has to be negative. And because this is negative, that means my large numbers need to be the negative. So we'll come back and put that so that when we go to combine, we'll get the right numbers. So when I combine, I get 143 negative, negative 70, negative 45, negative 32, negative 18, negative 10, negative 5, and 0. So do you see our winner? We need the negative 10. Alrighty, so step 3. That's where we will split the middle. So 16x squared plus 8x minus 18x minus 9. Step 4, factor by grouping. Underline, underline, circle. What do they have in common? 8x, 2x plus 1. Bring down the minus. What do they have in common is a 9. 9 times 2x gives me that 18x. And then 9 times 1. And we have to keep in mind, remember, these two must match. So I need a plus there. A negative times a positive gives me the negative that I go back to here. Then we just write our answer. Oh, I see I made a mistake when I was writing. I hate that. Say one thing, write something else. Just the way the brain works sometimes. There we go. Negative 9 times a positive 1 gives me that negative 9. And now these two match to give me my answer. And remember, this is also correct by the commutative property. So it can be written in any order. The first term, the first factor can come second. Okay. All right. Let's do another one. And I want you to remember, I haven't mentioned it yet today, always look for GCF, even with these. If you don't catch it at the beginning, you will need to catch it at the end in your answer. So notice, 3 goes into each one of these terms. So I'm going to pull that out first. And this will make life a little bit easier when we're having to multiply and find those factors. So step 1, 4 times 5 equals 20. Step 2, I need the factors of 20. 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3, 4 times 5. And I need them to combine or add or subtract to equal that negative 9. Which means again, oh, what are we doing here? If this is a positive 5 and that's a negative 9, remember, if that's positive and that's negative, then both of these have to be negative. So then I'm going to add. So this would give me negative 21, negative 12, negative 9. And so there we have our winner. Step 3, remember, you will keep your 3 GCF, but we're going to take and split our middle term. Do our factor by grouping. Focus on that middle sign there. I'm not going to worry about the 3 yet. I want to go ahead and finish this. We have 4y times y minus 1 minus 5y minus 1. A negative times a negative gives me the positive. My final answer here, the GCF of 3, 4y minus 5, y minus 1. Alrighty, let's practice. Some things you want to remember here. You want to remember to look for that GCF. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do remember on this one, you're going to need to rearrange it first. Okay? All right, go ahead and pause.